Hola, everyone. This is Timothy here at Astrology Rising, Costa Rica. 30 minutes before a full moon in Scorpio, and just as the moon's north node is transiting from Virgo into Leo. So I'm extremely honored to have pulled Rick Levine into the camera frame here. We have Eugenia, Krok, we have Moshe. And we're just talking about what's been going on. We've been a part of this conference. It's been really amazing. This was put together by Kai Pacha. And it's also been really crazy. This is take 2. We just did a shot in a thunderstorm, and the camera didn't record anything because it was already full of information. And so we're just going to wing it. And thank you guys for understanding. And so let's talk about it. What's going on with this full moon, guys?
It's a crazy one.
It's a crazy one.
No, I mean, it's crazy. Obviously, the full moon in Scorpio every year is a study in the polarity between simplicity and complexity. But this one has the added feature of not only the nodes of the moon changing signs, but of Mercury aligned with electric Uranus. And here we are at the full moon in an electric storm.
It's been really exciting at this conference because everything is changing last minute. Like this video, we're just fitting this in when we can. And this moon is square to the moon's nodes too. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that's propelling us forward at this time. There's a lot of culmination, transformation, and we're also initiating a new 18-month cycle. Ari, would you like to speak a little bit on that?
Sure. So yeah, we have this nodal shift moving into a Leo and Aquarius, and this full moon Scorpio Taurus squaring that. One of the resonances of this Aquarius-Leo axis shift, what I feel is really being birthed and opened up right now, is this possibility to experience a deeper relevance and truth in our own individual creative self-actualization, and how that perfectly, synchronistically, harmoniously resonates with everyone else in the most divinely inspired way. There's an aspect to life where we don't have the capacity with our small minds to understand the togetherness, the larger ecosystem of creation. When we're genuine with ourselves, when we're courageous and standing in our authenticity, courageously intending, offering ourselves to the world as our true self, that resonates and supports other people to do the same. And one thing that I'm experiencing, I think we're all experiencing here in this retreat, is just this beautiful coming together of people that are respecting one another, are excited for one another, and supporting one another to really be themselves. Aquarius really represents our true individuality and what we become when we're not pretending to be something else. And Leo is our unique, individual, soul, creative, divine expression. So this is really a time of all of this coming out in a really beautiful way.
And like Rick was saying earlier, we're all freaks. We're all totally unique.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that about you.
Just me. Yeah, just the South Node and Leo. But it's our uniqueness. It's what makes us separate and different from everybody else that is our gift. And so there is an initiation of this next 18 months of the moon's north node in Leo, coming from the last 18 months of the moon's north node in Virgo. That's been a lot of hard work in many respects, getting our shit together, coming into our bodies, coming into the earth. And in many respects, there can be a release of our own individuality, our own inner solar child. And of course, Leo rules the heart. And so this is about expression of who we actually are in our total individuality. And by sharing that gift, this is how we can come together in situations like this, in order to hold space, in order to create community, and to inspire the world in a direction that is hopefully going to allow others to come into their heart and acknowledge their individuality as well. So this next 18 months is a birthing of leaders. It's a time to become a creator. And in many respects, this is just beginning. The seed is being sown now. There can be the foreshadowing of who this true individual in our heart really is. And that seed can blossom through these next 18 months. we might notice at this time what is in between us and where we might want to be in terms of total releasing of that. But we are having that reflection shown to us, and it is initiating this direction that's opening up, again, through the next 18 months. And with this full moon, there's a lot of, cataclysm, catalyzing, transformation power that is really pushing us in order to come into this individuality and our power. Eugenia.
Oh, hello.
Hello. You want to add anything?
Yeah, so what I'd love to add is I think the last 18 months have really showed us where we feel shameful and guiltful for being exactly who we are. We've seen the seeds of shame and guilt that we picked up from our culture, from our families, from our societies. When we have shame and guilt, we tend to keep our authentic voice quiet because we don't believe who we authentically are is good enough. We don't think God will love us as we are. And so the last 18 months has really truly been about encountering our shame and guilt monsters and ridding them. We've also seen a lot of loss. We've lost some people. We've lost some things, some behaviors, and some attachments. And again, all of this has been driven by love so that we can be free to be who we truly and authentically are. And like Timothy was saying, Leo rules the heart and Aquarius rules the head. And so for the next 18 months, we have an opportunity to plant the seeds of the coming Aquarius generation that will be very heady and very technological. And how do we collectively start leading with our heart? How do we start collectively tapping into our heart to lead our head into action? And when we do that, we can be wildly authentic because we know who we authentically are is a product of love, right? And so as we can practice unity with Aquarius and then the individual heart and link our hearts together, we could literally change the world, right? We can start creating an entire culture of people that are heart-centric and driven by the heart and using the head to bring the heart into form. So I'm very excited for all the surprises and shocks that may ensue us, the next 18 months. But ultimately, whatever does unfold for us as a culture and individually, I truly, truly believe that everything is driven by love. And we can find gratitude for every experience that we go through. And so for me, it's a matter of linking the head and the heart the next 18 months and saying, this is who I am. And there's nothing wrong with it. I am perfect, exactly as is.
Well, you talk about the shock and surprise and bringing this down. I mean, we astrologers sometimes tend to go off into idealistic, metaphysical, spiritual realms, which is awesome. But we have a reality unfolding in the United States today at this full moon at the transition of the nodes, where the saying that absolute power corrupts absolutely is not true. It's the lack of power that makes people grab for it and creates corruption. And we're seeing the surprise, what Eugenia referred to as the twists and turns. It's like we've stumbled down the rabbit hole and we just can't keep up with how bizarre and how crazy the energy is right now. And I'm referring specifically to Trump's firing of the person investigating him, Comey, the head of the FBI. And I don't want to fall into politics, except I want to use that as a way of understanding the action of Uranus as it aligns with Mercury at this full moon. It's basically releasing the stored up and pent up tension. In this case, that's like lightning striking that has its own life. And it's not the actual strike of the lightning here that's the significant thing. It's what happens afterwards. It's how we respond to it, and it's how it stimulates whatever it is that's next. One last point I want to make is that and one of you said that this full moon is square the moon's nodes. Well, this full moon is the lunation that's halfway between the two eclipses, and the next eclipse, of course, is going to be the one that not only falls completely, the solar eclipse, across from one end of the United States to the other, but is also at the degree or within a degree of Trump's ascendant and Mars. And so I think here that the events, the political events that happened that we couldn't have predicted, I think are important in where we go with this metaphysically or spiritually.
Speaking of lightning striking, who's that? Kaipacha, join us, won't you?
Come on, there's plenty of room on the couch.
Come on, Kaipacha.
You see a spot right here.
What are you guys doing over here?
You can stretch across the couch.
Yeah, you can lay across us.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kaipacha. What do you have to share?
Any comments on the now? We're talking about
the
a
now.
full moon. Mercury is conjunct Uranus today. It's an exciting, unpredictable time.
Yes. Well, I just finished a Pele report this morning. And, that came to me. It was just basically that we are like volcanoes now about to blow. There's a lot of tension, a lot of pressure, a lot of real intensity happening right now. And the beautiful thing with the grand trine in fire, Saturn, Uranus, North Node in late degrees of fire, this is just a beautiful time where we can choose consciously to love.
Woo!
And do, what would love want here? Instead of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, all the personal planets in I, me, my signs, right? It's like we can mature into what does the group need, the future need, the children need. What is love asking me to do now? Instead of what I want, what does love want? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Namaste.
So we're all feeling that push right now. A lot of initiation, a lot of catalyst moving forward. And it is a time to really come out now, to let the beast out. We've done a lot of cleaning house, particularly this last month. Venus stationed on Chiron. We've had Mercury stationed on Uranus. A lot of unpredictable happenings, a lot of clearing of our own hearts. That way we can step into who we actually are and share what real beauty and love means to us. And so I'm really, really grateful to have pulled these guys together. I don't think I could have pulled this video off with everything going off without them. And that in itself is meaningful to me. And so is there anything else that you would like to add? Yeah.
It occurs to me, I speak about courage, and courage has been referred to several times, and something about these transits and this nodal configuration now. There's a piece in really accepting that in moving forward into our purpose, moving forward into community also means accepting on some level our own differentness. There's a simultaneous movement in accepting, okay, I'm not going to fit in, I'm not going to conform, I'm not going to suppress my own individuality. And there's a temptation with these transits, and that South Node in Uranus and that Mercury conjunct, South Node in Aquarius, Mercury conjunct Uranus, to actually get a little lost in the head, to get lost in intellectual thoughts, higher thinking, being detached from the heart, being detached from the real intimacy of this human journey. And it can take courage to actually be one among many who's going to love, one among many who's going to be vulnerable, who's going to share authentically, who's going to sing a song when everyone else is talking, who's going to be kind and polite and share and be generous. There's so much value and beauty in our own personal commitment to Leo. Be that flame, be that center, be that inspiration, and to not need the external validation to feel that we have permission to be what we truly are.
Don't you think that courage is and maybe you said this, but is a function of Leo? Courage
Absolutely.
comes from the heart.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we layer words onto Leo that are not as important as two words which I think are very leonine. One is courage, and the other is intention. Those seem to both be solar, heart-centered words.
Yeah.
So,
Fixed purpose.
yeah.
We're not wavering.
And, and historically, when we see these nodes in this placement, we see the Beatles coming to America, right? We see the inception of MTV.
No, you didn't see it. You saw it on TV.
I didn't see it. I heard about it.
I saw it.
I heard it was a really big deal, those Beatles, right? MTV, we see these like mind-blowing creative minds really step into this stage and change the culture completely, change the creative culture. But we also see shock and surprise, right? Politically speaking, we see a lot of shock and surprise when the nodes are in this placement. And that is why the heart is so important.
Well, we sometimes forget that the heart actually is electrically stimulated.
Totally.
And the Aquarius, and people don't get that Aquarius, it's confusing because it's an air sign, but it's the water bearer. And as you can see from being here in the tropics, when there's water in the air conducts electricity. When the air is dry, it does not conduct electricity. So Aquarius becomes the distribution of electricity, not only through our thoughts and our psychic interactions with one another, not only in the nervous system in the body, but the electrical sparks that stimulate the heart, which then creates the courage and the intention.
Woo!
Woo!
Awesome, you guys. So we're showing up. We're showing up as ourselves, and I thank you guys for showing up. And where can we find you?
Here and now.
Here and now. You got a website? Yeah?
Yeah, Google Rick Levine.
Google Rick Levine. Eugenia?
Yeah, Google Eugenia Krok, but I do have a website, accessibleastrology.com. And I also have a weekly report, but it's a podcast. With a co-host of mine. It's called Bridging Realities. You can find it on iTunes and SoundCloud. And yeah, accessibleastrology.com. I got lots of good resources for learning and teaching and connecting, and I'm super inspired by that.
And unlike everyone else, I don't have a weekly, but I have a monthly that you can find on my YouTube channel, Rick Levine Astrologer or Rick Levine Astrology, and daily, a daily horoscope that's currently on the horoscope column on Huffington Post, MySpace, AOL, Yahoo, LA Times, other places, I don't know.
Ari. My website, arimoshe.com. ARIMOSHE.com.
And you guys know where to find me?
Where?
Right here, where it's coming to you. Thank you guys for understanding. I'm showing up here. I'm used to doing these videos in nature with nobody around in order to think straight. And so we're doing some new and different things today. And it's mind-blowing. We're initiating new dimensions. And it's awesome.
Well, you don't have to think straight. We got you covered.
I'm covered this time. Woo-hoo-hoo.
And this
Thank
is
God.
right. This is like the collective. This is the individual creative process. This is what happens when it comes together, right? It's this amazing. Like, read all of our articles, listen to all of our videos and podcasts, because we each have a voice, and collectively it gives you the whole, right?
Yeah, this is not a one-man show.
No.
But this is us celebrating our differences together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the beauty of astrology, is we really get to see that and celebrate that. We're all one. We all are made out of the same fundamental nature, and simultaneously, we are totally unique freaks, and that's something to celebrate as our gifts from God. Thank you so much, everybody. All right.
Yay!